What's good, fam? It's your boy Jorge. Welcome to another episode of the Boys Podcast.
I'm back.
You're back. We're back.
Did you miss me?
Yeah.
Dude, that sucked.
Where you been, dude?
Dude, I know this is going to sound super weird, but I actually had work for once.
Dude, I've been getting messages and death threats and everything.
I know.
Where's the pod at?
I know. As far as the messages, I'm sorry, guys. I actually, every once in a while, probably 3 times a year, it happens where I get busy. As far as the death threats, I mean, let it rip, dude. I'm in.
No, don't let it rip. I'm the one receiving them.
Oh, yeah. That's why I said let it rip. Yeah, just had a couple fun weeks, actually. Got a random job 2 weeks ago for a guy that I used to work with through the Short Par 4 company. It's like a subscription golf closed company.
Yeah.
And we went and did some filming, kind of what I did in South Africa last year. It was called 3 Courses. It was with Hannah Liner, Gabby Powell. And he just hired me on his production. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know, but it ended up being like a really cool learning experience for me. The girls were awesome. It was basically, you do like a local bar in the town, like a local food, like a dinner spot, and then a golf course.
Oh, okay.
And that's how the show's kind of like built. It's the same company, Golf Nation, that I did South Africa for. And at first I was kind of stressed out because I'm like, dude, I don't know about cameras or nothing. And he gives me the run through the night before we start shooting. He's like, yeah, so these batteries go here. These batteries go here. This like goes do this, that. If I need this battery on set, I'm all, dude, what am I doing? But, after 2 or 3 days, it kind of became routine. And, I felt kind of cool because I was like in charge of all this stuff. So like right when we get done, I'd go plug in all the batteries and get like the mics plugged. And I'm like, dude, I'm like super like responsible and mature right now.
Were you in charge of making sure some of the cameras had memory cards in it?
Yeah. So I was in charge of the card. And I didn't have to check to see if it was in it, but I always had the cards on me. So like if one like filled up, halfway through a set or something, I had to be like ready to rip. And luckily it's a high-end production, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like working on like a movie or something.
Yeah.
So like if, they needed a lens change or something, they're asking me because the lenses were all like labeled. It's not like I'm stressed. Like I need it in 2 seconds, like we could take a break. The girls could stretch their legs and do whatever. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. We did Oceanside, San Diego, and then drove to Phoenix and did a couple days in Phoenix. So that was cool. Like I said, it was a learning experience and it was awesome. We actually got to do a little golf with the girls afterwards and had an off day in the pool. I mean, can't beat that. I was getting all sunburnt and stuff.
I mean, I did see the girls. They weren't
they're cute.
Anything bad to look at.
Yeah, they're cute. If I was 47 years younger, dude, I might be talking to them. But no, they're awesome. I've met them before through like the golf world and stuff. So we had a good time. It was just over a week job, I think. And I didn't mess nothing up. I didn't break nothing. Like when I had the lens bag, dude, I was sweating because I'm like, if I drop this thing or do something stupid, but
I will say one of the heart stoppers for when you kind of do this stuff is like not press and play or like record. Or like not having a memory card in there and thinking that you have that.
Yeah.
And then, dude, like I've been so many times like filming something and I'm like recording and like mid something, I'm like,
did I do it?
Dude, is there a memory card in there?
Yeah.
And then, you have to stop and check and you're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
You just went like 30 minutes recording something.
Yeah. And that's what's weird is there's so much stuff going on. It's like, I don't know how they keep track of it. Like I said, I was basically just the dude making sure they had the equipment. But I mean, dude, they're checking, lighting, lenses and batteries and, are all the mics on? And I'm like, dude, that's so much. Cause it was only 4 of us.
Yeah.
2 camera guys or 3 camera guys. No, 2 camera guys. Jock, who hired me, the production guy, and then me and a girl. And we just basically did it all. So it's like a smaller production. But yeah, the guys that were running the cameras, they had it all in lock and everything was solid.
Yeah, that's what's cool. And that's kind of what like you need nowadays.
Yeah.
I know like we kind of grew up in the era and then when you've done like moto movies. Yeah. So like people like rent helicopters and nowadays like that's not even necessary. You just get like a drone.
Drone. Yeah. We had a drone on the course and it's cool because I'm not really like film inclined, right? Like I'm used to like riding in front of a camera.
Yeah.
When you're riding, you can't even tell like if there's a helicopter or a drone or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you're standing on a golf course and watching the girls hit shots and watching the drone and like the way they're framing it, I'm like, I don't know if I'm seeing it because I don't know. And then like we'll go back and watch it and I'm like, damn, that looks sick.
That's
like,
sick.
Yeah, they're super good at what they do.
Well, speaking of that, when you were out there, I went to LA and hung out at the Spotify studios.
Yeah.
Dude.
I was supposed to be your date.
Yeah. Talk about the chick was bummed.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, oh, I know who he is.
Yeah, right, dude. Don't do that.
You would have liked it.
I just got so excited.
Yeah. But talk about like a setup, dude. So I went there and I was like, all right, this is cool. I'm going to learn some stuff about studio setup, like maybe things that I don't know, you know? and us, wanting to open up a studio and everything. So I'm like, this is gonna be cool. So we go in there and we take this, like, basically this course, like, on audio setup and everything. So at the very end, like, it was kind of like stuff I already knew.
Yeah.
But at the very end, I'm like, so what do you guys use? Because he's all talking about, like, he asked us, like, all, like, what do we use and, stuff like that. And then he goes through, like, more simple audio stuff, like I said, that I already knew. So then I ask him, like, what do you guys use? And then he, like, explains it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he basically explained, because there's these studios they have now where they eventually want the public to go in there and have, like, a space for, like, smaller creators to go in there and record. But right now it's just for Spotify exclusive content. And then also, like, the studios that Spotify, like, bought.
Yeah.
That, there were smaller podcast studios or whatever, and they might have had some exclusive content there. So those guys are able to go in there and record. But it basically, they got, like, 2 locations here in the States and then 2 in Europe. So they're like, we basically have it where it's all, like, all our locations have the exact same, like, system, everything.
Yeah.
So, like, if you record here today and then tomorrow you're in London and you're like, oh, dude, we need to redo that one part. You could do it in London and it's, like, seamless. So, like, we went through that, and then they show us, like, this big actual studio that they have that can basically turn into, like, 2 different podcast studios.
Right. Yeah.
And, like, the whole setup, it looked like a music recording because they had, like, the window there for the engineers and everything. Yeah. And they're like, you use these cameras at all? I'm like, hell no, dude. So like, everything I went in there, like, thinking, like, okay, because there's, like, a norm for, like, podcasting, like the stuff that people use, like the Rodecaster and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, like, maybe they kind of have just a shitload of that stuff, but no, they had some legit stuff. I'm like, dude,
but
this is gnarly.
Is it as legit as our new setup?
I mean,
dude, Jorge's got us so set up. I don't know how good you can see it, but we have a table now. So our yerbies, which, speaking of which, we can't get that far into the show.
Oh no.
Cheers, dude.
Wouldn't be a man. But speaking of this, part of it's a conspiracy theory.
Oh, that's delicious. Okay. I'm all about a good conspiracy.
I think the reason you missed the show the last 2 or 3 weeks, whatever it's been, because you owe me a yerbie. You don't want to pay up.
What was the bet?
The last podcast we did, it was on a UFC fight, and my guy won.
Ah, man. Okay. Well, why'd you buy him then? You should have told me.
Hey,
you just wanted to call me out.
You've been running away from me.
You wanted to call me out in front of our friends. I see how it is. Okay. Well, next yerbie's on me next week.
Yeah.
I'm around. So,
but yeah. So I'm just gonna say, Spotify. You showed me the top of the mountain, and now that's all I know.
Now we're climbing.
So now that's all that there is to it.
I mean, it did something to you because, like I said, we have a table now. Our mic stands, like.
I mean, this all setup I had. I just needed a table for this little space,
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Now I'm not holding it. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, I'm free.
Yeah.
So. No, that's cool though. Yeah, it's a trip to, like, see how stuff's ran. To me, like, being, like, around, and it's crazy because you think, like, our setup's good for what we do,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like they're, like, high end, and it's like it's just a podcast, dude.
Yeah.
It's still gonna just be a couple people talking, but it's awesome, man. It's cool how far everything's come,
Yeah, and, like, I think, like, there's certain podcasts out there that are pretty big.
Yeah.
And they basically have what we have, just, like, on a little bit of a bigger scale, more lighting and stuff like that, which is obviously very important. But for the most part, that's what I said, like, going in there, I'm all right, I think I'll know, like, equipment that they're using.
Yeah.
And then I'm all, so what do you use? And he's like, oh, and then he explained it. And I'm like, I have no clue what you just said, dude.
Right over the head. Yeah. That's why I didn't go with you.
But it was, like,
embarrass myself.
But it was, like, super impressive because, they had a bunch of different studios where you could go in, and then the main studio, I don't know if you listen to Spotify, but they got, like, a playlist called Rap Caviar, which is, like, all the new rap songs and stuff. So they have a new Caviar podcast or something like that where they record in there. And it's legit. Like
more legit than ours?
Well, like, movie studio, like, legit.
Okay.
For
ours
like
is pretty legit.
Yeah, for a podcast. So, it's pretty impressive what you could do with minimal things. And I think that's, talking to, like, people that want to start a podcast or, are scared to, like, you can basically do it on your phone.
Yeah.
you know, and with like one ring light or something like that. So, and then when you progress, like you don't have to be the Spotify. Cause when I was in there and they started showing me all that stuff, I was like overwhelmed. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I have no clue. Like there's nothing I can like take back home and go purchase.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But if I went to like a Joe Rogan studio and they showed me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
Like I could buy that or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So it's pretty impressive what you could do with minimal things. It's just, you just got to get out there and do it.
Yeah. That's why I was always afraid to start my own podcast. Like when you would tell me to do it, I'm like, dude, I'm going to need this. I need lights. I need my, you know, all this stuff. But now like hanging with you and doing it, I'm like, it's pretty doable.
Oh, great. Now you're going to quit.
I'm going to quit. Yeah. I'm going to start the Hairless Boys podcast. Hey, another bald dude. And that's what it's going to be.
Hey, I think we went a good few weeks without speaking on it.
No, heck no, dude, you're stuck with me. It's weird. I actually did miss doing it because for once I was actually doing stuff. I'm like, dude, I want to talk about this, you know, but I couldn't because like I literally got back. I think I was home for like 3 days and then left again, you know, and so, but it's cool because it gives us stuff to talk about. We're not just talking about, you know, sitting there getting hammered all weekend at my house or something, which I got hammered on the road. I'm not gonna lie, but it's a little more fun getting hammered on the road than just sitting on my couch. So,
well, I'll get into what I did because mine's a lot less.
Yeah, you talk
more
to me.
interesting.
Talk to me.
It's basically just, you know, I took the LA trip, so it was cool to be in LA. I love LA. Obviously, I don't live there. Yeah. So I can say that. You know, a lot of people that live there, they're like, dude, this place sucks. Yeah. But so I could say it. Weather was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I went out and did a couple things and then flew back. And then just been hanging out, dude. Fucking buying plants for the house.
Riding dirt bikes. Jorge had to call me the other day for some technique. I was at the airport all hungover. I'm like, dude, haven't ridden in 4 years. Just try this.
I just don't like get it.
Yeah.
But then like, you know, I was thinking the conditions are pretty bad. It's like super sandy out there.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, this is probably the worst conditions I could be riding in. Yeah. To like trying to just like not go super fast and just work on technique. Yeah. That I'm already tired. Yeah. You know, and like my shoulders are sore, like everything, my arms are hurting. So I'm like, this is probably the worst time to do it. Yeah. You know, so after that, I was just like,
hey, that's called the grind though. Yeah. Okay. You get through that, you can get through anything. Yeah. It's that's kind of what I figured. It's like drinking ram's piss on Beer Fest. You can get through that. Well, fuck, you can get through anything. Yeah. But no, that's where I know, like, because a lot of people have asked, like, why don't you teach, like, do riding schools or, you know, do this and that. And it's like, I'm not a good, like, even with golf, when someone's doing something wrong, I don't know how to explain it. You know, like I told you, I mean, I had 33 years invested on a dirt bike, and all I would do is watch video, like racing videos or something, and just try to mimic them. It wasn't like I went to a school and I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta have my elbows up. It's like everyone has their own riding style. It's like there's no right or wrong. I mean, there is a kind of centered balance, you know, body positioning you want, but for me to explain it, it's hard because from the time I was 4 years old, I just worked on what I saw on TV. Yeah. You know, so like when you called me and asked me, I'm like, hey, you could try this or you could try this. And then I started thinking, I'm like, well, like in like sand whoops, you don't hold yourself over the bars the whole time, right? It's kind of more of like letting the bike float under you. Because that's the thing that pumps us up, that makes us tired, as you get tense. And it's with anything. It's with mountain biking or running or golfing, you know, like tension is like the killer of everything. So it's like just about staying relaxed. So where do you find that body position, you know, because if you're trying to hold yourself forward, but it's not your natural position, you're automatically tension through your arms. And like you always say, you're like trying to grip with your knees. Yeah. And that's tension. Like there's a fine line, right? Like, yeah, I grip with my knees when the bike's getting out of shape, but like just going down a flat straightaway, I'm not just like deathlocked onto my seat, you know? So I started thinking about, like, cause I was just catching my flight when you called, and I'm like, how the hell would I explain that if someone like actually like needed advice? I'm like, I don't know. I needed advice. I know. But you like actually brought it to my attention that I actually don't know anything.
Well, my thing was just like, I wasn't sure, you know, I adjusted my bars a little bit and I think I made them more even. I put them forward a little bit, and just sitting on the bike, I felt good. Yeah. So then, you know, rode around, and then, you know, I mentioned to you my old bike, I used to run the bars lower, but it was a smaller bike. So I could kind of manhandle that a little bit better. So then this one, I was like, dude, it feels weird. Yeah. It felt good. Yeah. But also, like, I noticed I couldn't do certain things. So then I thought, well, maybe I need to put the bars down. That's why I called you. Yeah. Like, do you recommend this? And you're like, nah, probably not.
Yeah. That's a hard one. And that just comes from hours of testing. I do remember that as like, you know, even in freestyle, like when I went from like my Honda's, like my 2012 450s to the 2015 Suzuki 450, like the seat height, everything's different.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't have just a staple, like where my bars run. It's like, I mean, I don't like go far off of it. I'm not going rolling way back and pushing way forward, but definitely it takes some time, like some seat time. Cause you went from what, like a YZ 125 to a Honda 250.
Yeah.
It's going to be a huge difference. So you've just got to go out there and, you know, like I told you with your suspension, go out, do a couple laps, move something just a little bit, move it back, move it forward, you know, whatever you want to do. And you'll start to find the spots. So it's just about being comfortable on the bike.
Yeah. I think you should do some classes though.
No, did you just hear what I said?
I think once you're out there, you'd be able to, because that's the thing. I think if I was out there and you saw me, you'd be like, this is what you're doing wrong.
Yeah. I could do that.
Yeah.
Over the phone,
over the phone is a little harder.
I was like, I don't know, dude.
Hey, because I even asked Miller, and like his was, well, what kind of bars are you using?
Yeah.
Well, man, I don't know.
Yeah. That's another, I mean, that's a whole
he's a short dude, so that's kind of.
And he crashes a lot, so advice is sketchy with him. You know what I mean? Well,
maybe I shouldn't ask him.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's so many variables to it. He's right. Like there's bar bends, there's so much stuff, dude. And like I said, we had hours upon hours of riding dirt bikes. And, you know, towards the end of my career, it's like I'd give Cliffy my bike and he knew everything I wanted. But, you know, if he did that 20 years ago, it's like, I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. Give me a damn bike out of the shop and I'll start riding it and we'll figure it out. You know, I was probably the worst test rider you could ever have. Cause I just didn't like once I had that weird, like natural ability. Like I thought it's what everyone did, but like, you know, like Brian Foster, he was very like meticulous and like picky with like levers and everything. And I was the dude, like if my bike blew up, I could hop on some other dude's bike and go out and like start on it right away. No practice, you know? Dude,
that's exactly what how I am with a lot of things too. And even with golf and maybe not you now, maybe, but you know, like Hater Dave that filled in for you one of these days.
Took my damn spot.
Yeah. He's super like that. Like where he's like, oh, I got these new shafts, but dude, they're like 0.10 grams heavier. Dude, I can feel it. Well, dude, you're such a pussy. How do you feel that? He's like, I can feel it, dude. Yeah. I'm all, there's no way. I'm all, dude, I could go golf with my clubs, which are like $20 clubs. Yeah. And then go golf with your clubs and do basically exactly the same thing. Yep.
Yeah. And I'm with you on that. Like I'm the same in golf as I was in moto. Yeah. Cause when we were doing that film trip, the last day we got done at like 10. So we got to go and we were staying on a golf course. So we got to golf and we got like Callaway rentals, right? And they were like the really forgiving like basically you just started golfing. Yeah. And my buddy, who was my boss, he's like a +1 handicap, which means he shoots under par, you know, average. So we just shared a set and it had like stiff shafts on it, but I was looking at them, I'm like, damn, these things suck. Dude, I went out and like parred the first 3 or 4 holes in a row with like not my own putter and all this. I'm like, you know, they feel good to me. Yeah. You know, it's like, I don't notice a difference, dude. But I'm also that dude, like probably like you, is like we just get into the moment, right? I don't grab a club and I'm like, oh, this looks weird. Oh, this sucks. It's like obviously I like my own stuff better because I've gotten to like get it fitted for me. But when it comes down to it, dude, we're amateur golfers. Yeah, it's like you can't.
I've always wondered that, and like just in moto in general, and I know there's a big difference. But say like I got on, who's a dude kind of like shorter dude that rides.
Miller?
But even like Deegan. Yeah. Like Deegan's kid's bike. Yeah. Or Hayden's bike. Say I got on Hayden's like supercross bike. I probably could ride it and like be okay. Yeah. I'm not saying like kill it or nothing, but just ride it and feel okay on it.
Yeah, you would. 100%.
But then there's other people that would be like, nah, Dad, there's no way I could ride that bike.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you got into a good level of riding, you know, like I'm talking those dudes. Yeah. Like, you know, Jet probably would jump on Hayden's bike and be like, man, this thing feels like shit. Yeah. Just an example. I don't know, you know, but yeah, because I remember one time, so in freestyle, I like to run really like springy suspension, obviously. But when we were going to speed and style, I kept casing shit and just getting bucked over the bars every time because it was too springy, you know?
That's how my bike is right now.
Yeah. So me and Cliffy were like going to the drawing board. I'm like, man, if I want to take speed and style serious, like, because it was starting to scare me. I'm talking like a jump on, jump off, the most basic, you know, like you jump onto a tabletop, jump off of it. Most basic thing ever. I rode my freestyle bike at Staples Center and I jumped on. And when I went to jump off, it just like pogoed and I cased the next one over the bars. And I'm like, dude, I used to race Supercross. Something's up here, you know? So when I was hanging out with Hart and all those guys, when he had a Supercross team, I rode Hansen's bike one time. I think it was Honda 450 maybe. And I'm like, yeah, just let me try it on the Supercross track. And I came out of a turn and like double tripled. And when I tripled, I kind of like, it was almost felt dead through the lip. And I'm like, oh shit. And I kind of cased it. Yeah. And I clipped it, dude. And it was like butter. It just soaked it up and it doubled through it, you know? And I'm like, So me and Cliffy went to the drawing board. And we're like, dude, something's going on here? And Cliff was a suspension magician, basically. You know, we got a dial. And then from there, like when I went to speed and style stuff, it was awesome. You know, like never worrying about that. And, you know, like worrying about just having to be like spot on and precise. But then I messed up my freestyle because then my bike was coming off the ramp super dead, you know, but that was the thing with speed and styles. I kind of wasn't going to push the flip tricks a lot because it's hard, dude. You're racing. It's intense. Your arms start to get a little tight.
Hell yeah.
And it's like, I'm not trying to, I only had 4 flip tricks anyway. So I was kind of stuck, you know, but, I would rather have the confidence on the track and fight through the ramp a little bit, you know? So yeah, you notice stuff definitely. Like,
yeah, for sure.
There's a difference.
But as far as just like getting on something or just like picking up something, I think like we're people that can do it
for sure.
We're not just like always thinking about the little stuff. It's
you know
just
what? You know what screws me? Not to cut you off there, is it makes me think because like the putter we had in Arizona, right? It was kind of just like this old Odyssey putter. Like it was like what I use. Luckily, I use mallet putters, so it was one of those. I'm like, cool, dude. But it had like the super stroke grip on it. Dude, and I was rolling putts because it's like my hands felt more open. And I had a super stroke like 5 or 6 years ago. I'm like, this thing's terrible, you know? But then I was making putts. So I'm like, oh, dude, do I need to like switch my grip? You know, you start thinking, I'm like, damn it, dude, just stick with what you got. You're fine when you get home. But same with moto. It's like I rode Hansen's bike. I'm like, dude, do I need this freaking independent suspension now instead of like RG3 or something, you know? I'm like, so that's the only thing I noticed. But yeah, I mean, as far as just figuring, I mean, dude, like I grab my PlayStation controller, I can go to your house, grab it too. Oh yeah. Be the exact same, you know.
Back in the day, we could get on nukes on anything.
Yeah, anything. Yeah. So yeah, we're pretty neutral dudes.
Yeah. So just, you know, just been riding a little bit. Mammoth was that's kind of like the one race I like to do a year. There's the place around here, like in Fallon, Fernley, whatever. That place is having races. So I might do some of those and just ride that track. But
dude, you want to hear a weird story? I'm cutting you off again.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Yeah.
I saw your story yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday I'm sitting there golfing and we golfed out in Carson Valley, which is hours away from Fernley or Verdi or any of that, you know? And dude, I'm sitting there golfing and it was backed up, dude. The Douglas County sheriffs had like a 8-some in front of us. They were doing a scramble and they were all pretty buzzed. I was like going to ask for a hall pass because I was a little buzzed too. I'm like, don't follow me home. Yeah. You know? But, we got backed up and I hear someone there on mic and I'm like, what the hell? And I turn around and it was Drake McElroy's dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was golfing with Tyler, who runs Fernley. Yeah. I've never actually met Tyler, but, you know, recognize because we follow each other on Instagram or whatnot.
Is that the rapper guy?
No, that's his brother's the rapper that did the Supercross. Yeah. And Tyler.
So Adam and Tyler.
Yeah. So Tyler moved up here a while ago up to Verdi. So he lives up here now. And I'm like, how random is that? Carson Valley Golf Course. And we run into McElroy's dad and Tyler, who like runs the track. I'm like, I guess they were doing something at Wally's with the old ladies. So they got out of the house for a bit. Yeah. But yeah, super random. I was like, dang, dude, out of all the places, like there's 15 golf courses in this valley and that's the one we run into. So it was cool.
Yeah. Especially actually running into them.
Yeah. Yeah. And they were right behind us. And I started getting pressure though. Cause like I said, we had 8 in front of us. So they would always catch us and I'd have to hit my shot and they were sitting there. I'm like, oh my God, right into the trees, right into the river, everywhere. So
they're probably on Instagram right now saying like, dude, Mason's not that
good. Hey, for how much he golfs, he is not good. But yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. So that's about it for me, man. Just, you know, that's what happens when you get married and have kids.
I know. Same, dude. Tell me about it. Buy a dog and shit. Yeah. Buy plant. Dude, speaking of which, one of the bars we did on the film set actually gave me it was a bitchin' idea, right? It was kind of like this hipster. I mean, everything's hipster now, right? Like that's just the way everything's going. But dude, it was this chick ran bar. And so in the middle.
Liverpool.
No, I wish.
Okay.
I wouldn't have left. I would have stayed there. But in the middle, they have like all their alcohol all sick, like on, you know, like bitching like wood planks, like, you know, tequilas, vodkas, whatever. And they have like the sliding ladder, like in an old library.
Oh, yeah, sick.
But then it was just up the middle. And then on each side, dude, they had like literally 100 plants aside with like drips through it, you know? And it was cool because it kind of gave, you know, you go into a bar, it's always like a smoky, grungy kind of vibe, no matter what, you know? And this one like felt like it had like vibrance and like, you know, I think there was like oxygen in there and stuff. I'm like, dude, that's a pretty sick idea.
That's what plants do.
Yeah. So she had them all like all lined up, all perfect. I'm like, dang.
You know what I heard on plants real quick? And all the plant people are, you know, but I heard that you can get like, I have one, but like a little miniature like pineapple plants. Sometimes they'll give you pineapple, sometimes they don't. But if you put that like in your bedroom next to you, it gives off like an oxygen so you can breathe better.
Yeah, dude. Like I got aloe vera plants in my house.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this pineapple one.
No, but the aloe vera is supposed to do the same. It's supposed to like purify your air and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I wasn't arguing, dude. Why do you yell at me in front of her? See what happens when you have 2 weeks off, dude? He starts getting all lippy with me and stuff.
It's true. Speaking of good ideas.
Okay.
hear me out on this, okay?
I'm listening. I'll have a sip while you're doing it.
Yeah, I think last time, one of the last podcasts where you were talking about just a percentage of people that play golf and certain percentages hit under, break 100, you know, stuff like that. So there's different percentages.
Yeah.
So what if someone came out, and this is registered trademark by me. So if you guys take my idea, just make sure you...
I don't think he actually has it trademarked though, so go ahead and steal it if you need.
Yeah, but hook it up. Still.
Okay, yeah. Get a royalty.
All right. Biker jackets for golf. Not biker jackets, but you know, like Hell's Angels.
Like vests?
Yeah, like vests.
One percenters on it.
1%ers and stuff.
Oh, dude.
And then you have your golf crew name on the back, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, like how many people get shoot scratch percent wise, you think?
It's like under, I don't know, 1%.
Okay, so you could have like 1%, you walk into the club and everyone's like, damn, that guy's a badass.
Yeah, and then I'll have my chain wallet hanging out too and some freaking biker boots on. That sounds sick, dude.
It doesn't have to be leather.
I'm picturing Soldiers of Anarchy right now so hard.
That'd be kind of
I know, dude. I know it's not Soldiers, whoever yelled at me that one time.
Yeah,
it's
that was pretty funny.
Yeah. I think like a golf bag would be sick.
Okay.
You know, like, you know, you walk in and put your golf bag on the cart and you have like a little 1% patch and they're like, oh shit, I ain't messing with this guy.
See, this is how ideas evolve. I come out with like the idea, but then now it progresses because like leather jacket, you know, whatever. I was thinking more like Leatherman, like jacket, like high school Leatherman.
Oh, I'd rather have the leather.
But I'm just saying, you know, so yeah, maybe now we actually make patches for golf bags.
Well, shit, my patch is going to be like a 45%er, dude.
Mine's going to be what, 7%? 7%er?
You're going to be like 80%er.
Well, you said what? Only 7% of people break 100?
Yeah, there was a stat or something that like they break 100. But that's got to be consistent, dude.
I mean...
I want to see, I need 10 rounds out of you at 10 different courses. And you got to break 100 at all of them. Then I'll give you a patch.
Okay.
Because like I can shoot 72 at Sunridge. And then I'll go to any other course and I'll shoot like a 90.
But then you also got to think though, like...
I don't ever think.
You play Sunridge all the time.
Uh-huh.
I played twice this year, and that's the most I'll probably play all year.
See? So you don't deserve a patch then. It's a minimum of 10 rounds to get your patch.
Okay.
We don't just hand those things out.
Well, yeah, we're going to have to make patches. That's a good idea though.
That is a good idea.
See?
Yeah. I'll go down to Pottery.
Only the people that know.
Yeah. I'll go down to Pottery Barn and ask them if they can knit us up something.
Yeah, I don't know if they do that kind of stuff there.
I don't know. I just thought a barn with pots.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm telling you.
It could be something.
Yeah.
Dude, but you know,
everyone's going to start doing it now, and it all became from this.
What I'm thinking though is there's no way to like validate it because golfers are the biggest scumbags in the world.
No, but if you ran a 1%er, I'd be all, come on, dude.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying though. Is golfers are legit like the biggest pieces of shit, dude. They're the worst liars, like the biggest cheaters.
But they have friends because you never golf by yourself. Yeah. There's not one person that just golfs by themselves.
Yeah.
So you have friends and they hold you accountable. They're gonna be like, there's no way you deserve that patch.
Yeah, but if it's you and me golfing every day together, and I'm like, hey, dude, here's $20. Go buy your kids some lunch, dude. Can I get the patch? And you'd be like, yeah, dude. And then everyone's like, dude, he's got the patch. And I'm like, I might have cheated.
Maybe when we sell it on the website, we have to have like written.
There's got to be like a notary or something.
Yeah, like from the golf pro at the shop.
Yeah,
being like, yes, we attest that Mike is a 1%er.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, and then I'd go to like a hard course that's like on the PGA Tour and freaking shoot a 110. They'd be like, no, you're not, dude.
Imagine
they'd pull my patch.
Yeah, imagine Tiger showing up with all the patches.
Dude, his patch. Yeah, he would have like stars next to his patch.
Yeah, like in moto.
Like when you win. Yeah,
that'd be sick.
That would be sick.
See, come up with good ideas.
You came up with a good idea.
I mean, you helped.
I argued it.
Some people are just going to steal it, and then we'll just be here and be like, dude, should have done it.
Have it.
Yeah, they can have that one. That's a freebie for you guys.
Yeah, you guys can have it.
All right, let's hear it. You last week, the reason you did not show up to the podcast
was a good reason.
Well, I mean, that's yet to be determined.
Okay.
But nothing comes before this.
What?
The podcast.
I know, dude, but I had to work.
Yeah. So last week you went to, where'd you go?
I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right? How's that place?
Hot, dude.
I thought you said Toledo.
No.
Okay. Tulsa?
Yeah. So I went and did the LIv Pro-Am.
And you said it was hot and humid there.
Hot and humid. I mean, it was only 80, but you know, just humid's just different. 80.
Is it Oklahoma Midwest? Not Midwest.
Kind of,
like
yeah.
Mid?
Yeah, like Midwest, pretty much. Tornado Alley. There? Yeah.
Really?
Huh. Yeah. Luckily, when I left, like the day I left, it was like almost 90. And I watched a little bit of stuff and like all the players were just sweating bullets. But man, what an experience. It was. So that's how life works, right?
Yeah. So what was it?
I did the Pro-Am for the LIv
Pro-Am
golf tournament. Yeah. Okay. And you know, like everyone has their thoughts on LIv. We've talked about it on the podcast. I'm a fan of both because LIv is more my golf style. Mm-hmm. So I like that. You know, I like that they're wearing shorts. I like that there's music going like this and that. But don't get me wrong. I love watching the PGA Tour and watch, you know, like Jason Day. Shout out to Jason. He just won. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Mike's homie is my homie.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're all like one big family here. But no, he just got his first win in like 5 or 6 years. So
what was that one?
AT&T Byron Nelson, I believe in Texas.
Hey, that's all you need for a little spark in your step and a little confidence booster, and maybe you're there.
He's been so close, you know, and like getting his health back together, his game back together. So with that, going back to our conversations, like I love watching that stuff too. That's why I hate like everything in this world. It's a division thing, right? Like you like this, well, you're not supposed to. I like this. It's like, no, dude, we like golf.
Yeah.
Like I like golf no matter what. I got to watch Dustin Johnson, you know, live this weekend in Tulsa. And it's like, I love that. If I go and watch Tiger Woods, you know, I love that. It's cool. So I'm in the middle on all of it. But what I will say is how it was like Sunridge. Right? The Pro-Am, I'm like, God dang, I'm nervous, dude. Because all of us getting, like Coach Rusty was with me. Gabby, who I did the trip, she was with me. They're good golfers. And all of us were nervous on our first tee shot. Because I was golfing with 2 older dudes that I didn't know.
And this is on TV? Well, not TV, but like
it's on TV.
They still show it, right?
CW Network, yeah. Okay. So this is how life works. I don't do nothing all winter. And then I'm on that film trip in Arizona and Travis Miller from PGA Memes calls me. He's like, hey man, would you want to go to Tulsa next week for the Pro-Am? And I'm like, yeah, dude, hell yeah, I would. So then it's back-to-back jobs. I get home, have a couple days, fly back out. And the first night was the pairings party, which they kind of announce who you're going to play with and stuff. And dude, it was at the BMX Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
It was bitching. Like, and I go there, right? And I see like a half pipe and a box jump or a quarter pipe and a box jump. And I'm like, dude, sick. Walk in, it's James Foster and like TJ Ellis and all these dudes I used to ride Dew Tours and X Games with in Oklahoma.
They were actually
in Tulsa.
there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They were getting paid to do a demo. So I'm in Tulsa for a golfing event and I run into dudes that I used to ride action sports tours with. I'm like, that was weird. So
I wonder if it's weirder for them because they were there doing what they're supposed to. Yeah. And you're there. They're like, well, dude, what are you doing here?
It was funny because when I walked up, both of them were like, what the hell? And I'm like, what the hell? You know, but dude, what was sick is like Coach Rusty, he's been a huge action sports fan for a long time. Like he always said he used to watch me and that's how we became close, you know, him and his brother. And then all the pro golfers are walking in, dude. And I'm sitting there talking to the dudes and I'm starting to gain credibility because you got to realize like they've golfed. Yeah. They don't go to an X Games ever, you know, even if it's in their hometown.
They probably hear about it here and there.
Yeah. I mean, they know what it is, but like, I remember like Foster did a flare and like Coach Rusty and some of the professionals were like, holy shit, did you see that, dude? I'm like, it's a flare, dude. Yeah. James could do that. You know, he could wake up out of bed and go do that. Yeah. And then they're like 360, you know, bar spins and all this stuff. So they were all stoked on it. So then I'm immediately like kind of in the circle and then they had like a huge BMX track like that you'd see like in the Olympics or something, dude. And,
yeah, I saw that.
Dude, I'm sitting there and like Abe Answer, was a PGA guy, now a LIV guy. He's like this tall and I see him go flying by on a bicycle with a helmet on. I'm like, I don't know. You got to play tomorrow. You know, like you've got a weekend coming up and they were just all stoked on it. And it was bitching for me because, you know, if you did it like a nightclub or a bar or something, then I'm just a normal dude. But like for me to get to explain to some of those dudes, like, man, you know, and all of them are like, dude, hop on the bike, go jump. Then I'm like, no, I rode moto, dude. I don't do this.
Should have been on, dude, I got to play tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't hurt myself. So that was super cool. And then just because I've done a couple PGA Pro-Ams, but with the way LIV is like all the players had to be there for, you know, an hour and, you know, meet and greet kind of. And it was just such a small, like, it felt like a little family community vibe. Mm-hmm. You know, like I'm sitting there talking to one of my buddies and Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka are right next to me talking and shooting the shit. And Mark Leishman walks up and I'm like, dude, I am so out of element here, you know, because I love golf. So it's like, I'm starting to get a little starstruck, you know, but as the night progressed and I had the beers, I just started shooting the shit with everyone. It was super fun. And they had a ripping cover band. You know how I love cover bands. So the whole night was just fun, man. And then next morning we get there and I played the first 9 with Lee Westwood, who I've, you know, always watched since I got into golf. And the second 9 with Pat Perez, who has kind of became a good friend of mine. And we call him the Kenny Bell of golf. He looks just like KB, but a little more in shape. Sorry, KB. But man, it was just an experience. You know, it's for me, like being into golf, like it's fun to be on the tee box with those dudes and watch how they hit the ball. Mm-hmm. And like even sometimes like Lee Westwood, our very first tee shot, dude, he blocks it out into the trees. and he's against a tree. And we're all, oh shit. Cause I striped my drive because I was so nervous. I had adrenaline. My drive was way the hell down there. And we got to, so us amateurs, we had to use our drive. So like the other two dudes used my drive. We can't use Lee's ever.
Right. That makes sense.
So Lee punches out. I'm like, yeah, that's a smart play. And then he hits it and comes up short of the green. I'm like, oh shit, he's kind of blowing up. Chips it in for a par. Damn. And then like pretty much par birdied every hole. I'm like, God, these guys are just on a different, like, I've played some good golf, but it's nothing to like what, you know, the consistency of what those guys do. So
what's funny to me, you posted this and I thought it was funny, and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast, but there was a thing you posted with Pat showing you, or he was giving you pointers or whatever. Shit to me. Yeah. And then you're about to hit and he's like, dude, at least move the stuff, like the debris. Yeah. And it's funny because I wouldn't care. Yeah. And like you didn't care. Obviously you were about to hit it and then you're like, and then you go move the whatever it was in front of your
ball. It was just like a leaf, you know, a pile of leaves. He's like, dude, move that shit. I'm like, it's my alignment, dude. That's the shot I want. Yeah. Dude, but
those guys, that's what they're.
They have attention to everything. Yeah. What was cool about that whole thing, though, and I think the video will be coming out soon, is they followed us for a hole. So my buddy Yosti, he works on that tour now and works with DJ.
Shout out Yosti.
Yeah, shout out Yost. And then he hired his buddy Antonio, who I'm also close with. So that's what's cool is like I'm at this tournament. There's music going on. There's drinks on the course. And I've got like, you know, when a filmer comes up, it's my buddy. Yeah. So I don't feel like I'm like, I got to be super proper, you know? So they start following us on this hole and I'm playing like shit, dude. Just nervous and like, you know, I can't help like
no drinks?
Oh yeah. So before I get into my story, that's what's bitching about LIV is I was playing like shit. They have a whiskey sponsor on a par 3. I'm like, dude, can I do the shot? Oh yeah. So I rip a shot of like Buffalo Trace or something. And dude, 190 yard par 3, I stuck it to like 3 or 4 feet. Right? Like the shot's still on my tongue damn near, you know? I'm like, and Lee's all, dude, I guess you need to drink. I'm like, yeah, I don't play sober ever. Yeah. So I started playing good and then we switched to Pat and then I'm nervous again. You know, like I just started getting comfortable with Lee. But dude, there's like 4 or 5 bev carts, like big old like long bed golf carts with ripping chicks in them, full of ice, full of beers. So like my caddy started getting me and he started putting like 3 Coors Lights in his little bib and stuff. And I'm ripping. Yeah. And dude, by the end I was toasted, but it was so fun, man. But back to the video or the hole, I mean, is he's like, hey, can we follow you for a hole and have Pat like talk shit to you, like make fun of your swing? I'm like, yeah, why not? I'll be that token guy, you know? So this hole sets up off the tee shot. You got to hit a draw. You have to. Like if I try to cut it, there's trees all down, like right off my tee box, trees all down the left. And he's like, oh, you got to hit a draw. And I'm like, I don't know how to, you know? Dude, somehow black out, stripe a draw, dude, right into the middle of the fairway. And he's like, dude, how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. If I knew how to do it, I would do it every time.
You should have claimed it. I would have claimed it.
No, because I was shaking so bad. I think they could tell I was not claiming that. But then, so the video that I posted on Instagram was the approach shot. And dude, I have like 130 in, you know, just a pitching wedge in, easy shot, perfect lie and everything. And Pat's sitting there talking shit to me. Dude, and I swing and hit like maybe an inch behind the ball, which is a lot. But that grass back there is super like dense and grabby. It just stopped my club. Ball went like 90 yards. Oh my God. Dang. Yeah. But then I actually chipped up and almost hold the par out. So it was fun though. You know, Pat's like, he's like one of us, even though he's freaking a multimillionaire and been on tour for 20 years.
He loves shoes. So he loves
shoes. He loves alcohol. That's how I started following him. Is a long time ago. He won a tournament, long time ago. And I think they asked him, they're like, we know you like drinking. Like, what's the drink of choice tonight to celebrate your win? He's all, everything.
Hennessy.
Yeah, everything. So he's just been a good dude. But, you know, Lee was awesome because Lee's very, like, that's what's trippy to me is like, I love golf. And these dudes make so much money and shit. I'm like, God, they're probably just way too high society for us. But like Lee was questioning everything I did on a motorcycle, you know, and in my bio, I think I had to like write some stuff I did. And I just put, I don't have many accomplishments really. So I put like I backflipped a 130-foot jump filming for Schweitzer, you know, and him and his caddy, like we're walking. He's like, I read the bio. Did you flip your motorcycle 130 feet? I'm like, yeah. And him and his caddy are like, dude, can you believe like, that's nuts, dude. I'm like, well, yeah, but it was kind of normal to me, you know? Yeah. So it's cool how the worlds are colliding. You know, I definitely think golf, like how you always say with the Ben Baller dude and, you know, DJ, how do you say Khaled? DJ Khaled. Yeah, DJ. He's super into golf. And, you know, a lot of action sports dudes, Twitch and all these guys, everyone's getting into golf now. And I think that's what golf needs because, you know, you got Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Xander Schauffele, these younger dudes. It's not an old, you know, beer belly cigarette smoking sport no more. It's more for the young. And
it must be cool for these guys too. Like you're saying that Lee guy, you know, for him to take the time to read your bio and
trip
then,
me out.
Yeah. And then he like golfs with you, and then he's asking he's asking you questions with his caddy and everything. They're just interested. They wouldn't meet that if it was very, kind of PGA 2 years ago type deal. Yeah. They wouldn't meet that type of thing. So I think it's pretty cool for them. And at the end of the day, they're still going to have the tournaments where it's just them and they play for, lots of money and stuff, and the PGA, LIV, whatever it may be. And just be serious. Yeah. But to have those type of tournaments like that and get to hang out with people that they most likely wouldn't is probably pretty dope.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing with LIV is, like I've done the Barracuda Pro-Am twice, and I got Troy Merritt the first time, and dude, I'm not talking shit, but he was not fun. It was like he legit was out there to practice.
Never heard of him.
Yeah. Never heard of her. But the next time I got Joel Damon, which a lot of people know Joel, and he's awesome. He had nut cancer, and where's so he lost one of his, still had a kid though. So I guess one works, but he was fun, but it was still like, they have to go out and try and win a tournament and keep their card, and there's stress on the line. So I get like why they're not just out there happy go lucky, but with LIV, it's like they're guaranteed their money. There's no cut. There's no card loss, this and that. So I could just tell all the players just seemed way more relaxed. And for me, that's fun because I'm already nervous, right? I don't need you to be like quiet and awkward and make me more nervous. It's like, the fact that I'm walking down the fairway with Lee Westwood, who's been on tour forever. Like I said, I've been watching him forever, and he's won tournaments and came close to majors and stuff. Like, I'm like, dude, this is like kind of a surreal experience, like literally shooting the shit with him. And then if I do hit a good shot, he's like, dude, you got a lot of potential there. I'm like,
dude, especially from what you just said, like the week before, you're working, you're doing something for someone, and you're working in the same kind of industry or whatever, but then you get the phone call like, hey, it's like, dude, that's surreal to me.
Yeah. And I was telling Bubs, my roommate, I'm like, I almost had like an out of body experience because like I said, I'm a huge fan of golf, LIV, PGA, it doesn't matter. Huge fan. And so like, I know, like I've been watching this shit for probably 8-9 years now. So I know like everything, and I know, DJ swing and this and that. And I'm walking down the fairway, and Travis Miller was actually with DJ like 2 groups ahead of us.
Oh, sick.
So it kind of went like 10 and then 11, 12, like in a horseshoe. And then 13 was like right where our green was, like, our green 13. Walking down with Pat Perez. And once again, I'm sitting here talking to Pat about moto and stuff and drinking beer, because like right when I got on the tee box, he's like, where's your beer? I'm like, oh, I haven't seen the cart yet. Like he was all stoked. So I'm walking down, and as we're walking down to the green, 13's tee there, and I look up and I see DJ like with his just patented like bowed wrist swing, just ropes the ball, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Yeah, I'm like surrounded by these multimillionaires that have had successful careers, because I appreciate all athletes. Like we've always said, like even if I got to golf with LeBron James or something, it's like the shit that dude's seen and done under pressure. Like DJ has won a major and Pat's won PGA tours. I'm like, that's what gets me starstruck. It's not that it's Dustin Johnson. It's more like, I think maybe my athlete mentality is like, dude, that's crazy. Like this dude's
what you've done.
Yeah. Like what you've done and what you got to see. And, like,
and I think that's definitely what it is, because what it's like. You've been at the top where it's you versus, like in speed and style, it's like a knockout bracket. Yeah. And then it was you versus the other guy, and whoever won that was the champion, the gold medalist. Yeah. So what it takes. Yeah. And then it's hard for like the regular person to sit there and be like, put themselves in your shoes. Like there's a lot of nerves, there's a lot of things. So if you overcome that and you win, it's pretty special. So it's the same with these guys. Like imagine like LeBron in the finals, and it's like 2 seconds left. Yeah. And you have to shoot it and he makes it. It's like, dude, that's incredible. Yeah.
So that's how I always view stuff. Like even when I first met Jason Day and we started talking, I actually played Whistling Straits. It was his one major win. And this course, dude, was like, the fairways were as wide as my driveway, like 2 cars wide. And it's just long and hard and windy. So when I was talking to Jason, he was actually saying stuff about like, man, that's so gnarly. You had to worry about like getting hurt and this and that. I'm like, yeah, that, like we had double nerves. I always called it. We had the nerves of competing, and then the nerves of like, if it's windy and you're trying to like go out and ride at a high level, where golf, I wouldn't say is like that, but there's a lot more pressure. They got a lot of money on the line. They've got a lot of stuff their future relies on. Like if I didn't win X Games, I wasn't going to lose my X Games card. You know what I mean?
And competition's a lot harder.
Yeah. So
you know, you could be shooting par.
Yeah.
But then there's these 3 other guys that are shooting way better than you.
Yeah. And that's what I talked to Jason about is I'm like, I don't think you understand, because it's what he's done his whole life. I'm like, I don't think you understand how much gnarlier golf is, because you have to do it for 4 days, right? Like imagine if I had to win speed and style 4 days in a row.
Yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
Like Nate keeps, you know, chipping away at me, or Pastrana's right there every day. It's like, dude, the pressure mounts the longer it is. Like luckily my sport took an hour and a half. You know, I can get through that. So I was talking to him and I'm like, man, after playing that course, like just knowing the fact that, because I think Spieth was like a stroke or 2 behind him and they were playing together. It's not like he had a 5-stroke lead coming down the stretch. And he's like, you know, I've never actually thought about it, but it is kind of gnarly what we do. You know,
he's like, thanks a lot, dude.
Yeah. So, you know, like just that's where like I have just like the utmost appreciation for like golfers is I know how hard it is. Like I've been under par a couple times at Sunridge, like 1 or 2 under, and I've got to like 16 and I can't help but think about it. And that's like rule of thumb. You always look forward, and, you know, I'll end up like 2 over because I just come down the stretch like shit. So like the fact that these dudes, they can do it day in and day out for the money they're playing for, you know, everything, it's pretty impressive. So when I get to see those guys in person, like that's what I think about.
Yeah.
I'm not like, holy shit, that's Dustin Johnson. I'm like, damn, dude, that guy has seen some shit.
Yeah.
And he's flown on a private jet. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
He's the one married to Gretzky's daughter?
Paulina, yeah. Uh-huh.
That's all I care about.
Yeah, he's kind of living.
Yeah.
You know, multi-millionaire, hot wife. That's the exact opposite of my life.
Yeah.
I'm a multi-hundredaire.
Yeah.
No
Same.
wife. I got a puppy.
I got a wife.
Yeah, you do got a wife. You got kids.
Yeah.
Nice. Private jet?
Don't have one of those.
Yeah,
I took Southwest LA.
Come on, podcast. Pick up, dude.
Yeah, I mean, if you show up, we probably would.
No, dude. Hey, I'm back.
No, but see, that's good that you're back. That's a good story. Like,
Yeah.
I talked to you a little bit about it, and then I see your posts and stuff, and you know, you can only gather so much from that. But like, dude, everything you're saying right now, it's like, holy, like I'm feeling like what you're saying, like it's surreal. It's like, holy shit.
And I've always had this mentality. I don't know what it is. I've never felt like I belong, right? I feel like I'm very fortunate, but I've never been the dude that's like, yeah, I'm pretty damn good at what I do. You know, so I've always said, I'm like, I'm from Minden, Nevada. Like, what am I doing riding at Jeremy McGrath's house? Why am I at Ricky Carmichael's ranch training with Sean Palmer? You know what I mean? Yeah. All this stuff. And then the same with golf. It's like these dudes I've been watching on TV while I'm trying to get into this game. I'm like, what? You know, if I show these guys my hometown, they'd be like, Jesus, what do you do? You know what I mean? It's because it's just so small and not a lot comes out of here and happens. So yeah, it's pretty crazy to look back on it all. And, you know, like I said, be on a golf course with those dudes. You know, it's weird. So very thankful for it, obviously. And thankful for Moto to give me this opportunity in golf, you know, because like you pay attention, like in the Pro-Am, the 2 old boys, like one runs a golf course, one runs like, I don't know, like a marketing firm or something, you know, so there's talk, but it's like, yeah, you know, cool, dude, my business is going good. But like we said, like the athlete to athlete connection is always different. They're super intrigued about Moto. Like Perez is like, man, you guys must have huge balls. I'm like, I mean, I can show you. They're not, they're, you know, small. So they have a respect for us. We have a respect for them. And man, I think that's what it's all about. Dude, speaking of which, I was thinking we should make some kind of like anniversary for the pod, whether it's like our 20th episode or year of doing the pod. And we got to have drinks the whole podcast. I'll find you a driver home. Well, I want to see you slurring to our fans out there.
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking like maybe not even doing like an anniversary one. It's just more like having like, if we had a guest, if we had that right guest, and we'd probably just sit here and
podcast would be like 5 hours long. We're passed out with cans everywhere.
Yeah,
that'd be
more
sick.
like Joe Rogan stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But yeah, so wrapping it up, that was just a good couple weeks. You know, like it was fun for me because, as you know, I get sick of sitting here. And I mean, golfing's fun, but I can only golf Sunridge so many times before I'm like, dude, I need to go out and do something. And both those opportunities could present more opportunities. You know, like Trav kind of does a lot with LIV now, and I'd be stoked to go back. I mean, even if I just went to help him and hang out, like I don't have to golf the Pro-Am. It was just such a...
Dude, we need where's he live? Texas?
Dallas,
we need to go visit him and bring the pod studio to him.
Oh, he would, 100%.
And be on there and hang out with him.
Yeah, 100% he would do it. You think my stories are, he's got stories, dude.
Oh, I bet.
Like good stories. I mean, he's a family, not weird stories like that. You know, he's got a family and
I think I saw his post that, because he stayed, right? You left.
Yeah, because he has to do stuff for LIV.
And he was actually, well, maybe that's what it was. He was golfing with Dustin, right?
That's like what you said, dude.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Question though.
Yeah.
So kind of explain more of this TV show.
Okay.
But so obviously I get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have hot girls, influencer golfer chicks. Right. I don't know if they're good or not. I'm sure they're decent.
Super good.
So that's kind of an easy sell.
Yeah.
You know, let's put these girls out there. We're going to do some content with them and stuff like that. But is there a chance of maybe you doing that in the future with them?
Well, like I said, I did South Africa last year.
But that was like a big thing. But this
is the same thing though. It's the same channel, same network, everything.
Right. But you were there for like a month doing a bunch of
2 weeks.
Shit. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they did 2 weeks.
Oh,
because
okay.
they started in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. It was the same thing.
Yeah. So they did some stuff in Atlanta. I don't know if the girls went to Costa Rica. I don't think. But they might have been doing another show, the production company. So it's the same thing.
Oh, okay. And so I thought it was just like this new kind of concept of going to a local course and then hitting the bars and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's basically what we did in South Africa.
Oh, okay.
We did the same thing. We'd have a golf day. We did a grill night. Like I got to grill with the dude. We went to ostrich.
Oh.
And dude, I'm terrified. I can't remember if I told the story or not, but I'm very weird, like with eating, right? Like steak, chicken, that stuff's fine. But you start getting me like weird meats and I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So we're like doing this ostrich fillet and dude, we're out in a safari. Like we're in the middle of nowhere. This thing's open flame. And the local there's teaching me how to cook it. I'm like, I'm gonna have to eat this thing on camera. And what if it is just like
That's
gamey?
not bad. Yeah.
You know, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Dude, ended up cutting into
At least
it.
it wasn't like a dick or something.
Oh God.
Ostrich dick.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been yucky. Testicle. But dude, ate it and it was delicious.
Yeah.
And then
chicken?
it did like more like a fillet. Because it's a super lean. I think it's like a red meat. So it was like, it was awesome. And the way the dudes, they prep it and do it, like it was good. So I was stoked on that. But then the next day we went to an ostrich farm. And dude, that's when they were all pecking on my shirt. I'm like, dude, they know I just ate their ancestor.
Yeah.
They're pissed at me.
Dude, how big are their legs and stuff?
Huge,
They're like
dude.
taller than you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I the guy made me kneel down when they were pecking me, it was creepy. Like I was actually pretty scared.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of like on camera, I'm giggling and stuff. But dude, I mean, like they're like smelling in my ear and then like nipping my earlobe and stuff. I'm like, oh my God.
Dude, that's like a baby dinosaur. Like not like a...
They're extinct.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Oh,
back
I thought you actually saw one. I'm like, no way, dude. It looks just like it.
No. Just how like big they are and stuff.
Yeah, they're
like,
huge.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, they're huge and they like breathe out of their nose super hard. So like when they're like when you feed them out of your hand and they'll like come down slow and you can hear them nose breathe and I'm all, oh my God. You know,
all this stuff goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Speaking of cooking, dude, I need everyone's opinion. And I don't want to hear Traeger.
Okay.
For the fact that like, that's kind of the obvious.
Yeah.
You know, you do stuff for Traeger and all that. So, I need advice. I want to get a new barbecue. You know, there's tons of barbecues out there. You know, Lowe's, Home Depot, Costco, bunch of stuff like that. I'm more of a quick cooker, you know. I cook with propane. Yeah. You know, so stuff like that. So if anyone out there has any suggestions on like good barbecues, you know, I was looking at some that do like the propane, but then they also have a smoker on the side. You know, there's a ton of stuff like that. There's some pretty cheap ones and stuff. And I know everyone's going to be like, oh, Traeger's the way, but like, I don't really.
That's not a barbecue though.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't really cook like that.
Yeah. If you want like a flame, actually, I don't know, but some of the influencers I follow have been posting that like Napoleon one.
So you never heard of it.
Yeah. And it might be spendy though. Cause like they have commercials and stuff now and it looks bitchin'. It's like, you know, I think there's different sizes. We can get like a 5 burner or something. Yeah. Yeah. It looks set. Like if I bought one, I'd probably buy that. Cause I want to get more into like actual like open fire. Yeah. Yeah. So like learning how to do like, you know, charcoal and like throw some like wood in there to like flavor it that way. So I've like looked at like green eggs and all that stuff. But the thing that sucks is like, I feel like that's more of like a influencer deal. Because for me, if I just want to cook some chicken breasts and I got to go out there and pile up briquettes, get them hot, get a temperature set, like that's a lot of work, you know? So yeah, I want to get something too. I need to get a new Blackstone too. Mine's hammered. Yeah. Well, I saw the new Traeger Blackstone type, whatever. Those look pretty sick. $800, dude. Yeah.
It's pretty.
I paid like $370 for my Blackstone.
Oh yeah.
So that's a little aggressive.
I got mine going and I've been cooking on that.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Did pancakes and bacon, eggs this past weekend. Kids loved it. Yeah. Yeah. I know there's people out there that barbecue and they're all not just doing Traeger and stuff like that. So if you guys have any advice, I'm open to, you know, the half barbecue. There's some with like a pizza oven, like whatever it is. Just give me just tell me what you guys like. hit us up in our comments wherever and let us know. And then
Jorge will tell me because I need barbecue too, barbecue as well.
And then I'll have to go purchase.
Damn it, dude. Everything costs money in this life, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Then you got to get like the steaks, the chicken. Damn, dude. It'll be $1,000 into this thing. No problem. No problem.
First night.
It's worth it though. Yeah. I didn't get this body by skipping out on meals.
Absolutely not. Yeah. You got anything else for us?
No, I've got another trip coming up this week. So I'll have a good podcast next week, I believe.
What do you got?
Going to Jersey to see the Burlews, Jersey Tony, all them. But then it also coincides with one of Travis's PGA memes tournaments at Trump National in Bedminster.
Okay.
Or Trump Bedminster, I think it's called.
So you leave tomorrow?
Leave tomorrow, but I'll be back Wednesday. So we'll have a pod done on Thursday.
Okay.
So I'll have more stuff to talk about. And then I've got one more trip into Salt Lake after that. I'm going to go hang with Kendrick Barbecue, do a little Traegering and stuff. I mean, it's more just to hang out with him, but it's always good to get a little content with him while I'm out there. So do that. And then I think June, we should be back to just normal, regular, boring podcasts.
I'm going to have to fly in at Kendrick's.
You won't.
Why?
Because you won't. I know you won't.
Because he follows the page. So thanks, Kendrick. If you
thanks, Benny. Yeah, he's a good dude. He's always supportive of us.
Yeah. I saw he has like a Traeger Day.
Well, it's Traeger Day. It's not he's doing it. It's Traeger like throws it out to all their influencers. Like they want to have a...
So he does it at his house.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like all of them do. Okay. You know, like me, Church might do one at his house. It's just Traeger Day, but I think Benny kills it. He gets like 20 people over there, some influencers, some just his friends. And dude, he makes so much food.
Yeah.
That guy is so gnarly because there's been times where it's been like me and my buddy Zevi go to his house. Dude, and he has like steaks, sausages, appetizers. I mean, dude, he's feeding like 20 people.
Yeah.
And there's 4 of us. And dude, every time we leave, we're like, oh my God. And everything's good. So you can't quit eating. You know what I mean?
No.
So we just freaking pig out and drink a bunch of beer. And
when's that? I'm flying in.
We're going to be there Memorial Weekend. Sunday.
Oh shit. That's like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're going to golf and then head back Wednesday. So yeah, looking forward to it though. I mean, now that he lives in Salt Lake, it's a little more of a hike to get there. He was just over the hill. Yeah. So haven't got to see him a lot. Stoked to catch up with him. Obviously eat his food, rip a bunch of beers. His wife and kids are killers. So, it's cool when you meet people. Like, I mean, I've really only probably hung out with him like 10 times.
Yeah.
But he's like family. You know what I mean? He's like I said, when we show up there, he's got Snake River Farm stuff all over, he's ready to rip and spend money on us, which, we really appreciate. I mean, I try to like buy the food for him. Like, I'm like, hey, when we're coming in, we'll buy some. Nope, I got it. And
yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to that. That'll be a fun trip. And that'll kind of end this little stretch. Like May has been crazy for me. So
that's good.
Yeah, have a nice June. I'll try and think of some content for us. I mean, it's kind of hard if I just golf Sunridge and drink beers every day, but and I'm still doing one of these podcasts wasted. I promise you that.
Hey, well, I thought we were going to do one like that.
Yeah, when Tony was here.
No. We were going to do a late one. I forget.
Yeah.
But, dude, Supercross season ended. It was wild.
Yeah. That was another thing we could talk about.
Yeah.
I finally watched Supercross, dude, and Eli takes himself out. Like, I feel so bad for him on that. Yeah. And that was terrible. And it's so weird because, like, he even said, it's like, how many times do these guys eat shit? And, they're banged up or whatnot. Like, I think, like a week or two before in Jersey, his hand blew off, like, on the warm-up lap.
Yeah, yeah.
And he ate shit. And then on this one, he jumps the jump pretty fine, a little OJ, and Achilles is gone.
Achilles, yeah.
And he had the title clinched. So that was a tough one.
Good for Sexton.
Yeah, stoked for Chase. I mean, he was there, Dude,
we've been talking about Chase, like how, dude, if realistically, if he didn't crash at all this year, he would have he would have won the championship. I think. I
do think so. He threw a lot of races away.
Yeah.
But that's part of the game. That's where Eli was, Eli had a couple like 8s, I think, and 6 and 7s. Yeah. But for the most part, Eli wasn't off the podium.
Yeah.
Which gave him his big lead. But it needed to be bigger. That's and his home event too.
And then Webb also.
And then Webb points down. Anderson goes down. I mean, dude, Barsha. It's like that. All respect to those guys, but Salt Lake was pretty hard to watch because I mean, in Heat 1 of the 450s, I think it was Roxon and maybe Wilson or someone, and then nobody.
Justin Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. The best meme came out of that. They had a meme of a photo of Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
It's like Hill going up to the podium.
Yeah.
Dude, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So good job to him.
Yeah. And that's what I mean by like no disrespect is like those dudes are still out there doing it.
Yeah.
And that it was kind of cool to see some different podiums, but it's just kind of hard to watch when you like, I mean, dude, if I podiumed to 450 Supercross, I'd be stoked.
Yeah.
But I'm also
Cianciarulo crying up there.
Yeah. But I'm also very realistic is like, well, like there was like 9 people out of this race.
Yeah. Know? I mean, on paper, imagine if all those guys were back and Justin rode the same type of race. Yeah. He would have ended up in 8th.
Yeah. Which I think, like, from what I gathered is that was his goals, his top 10 this year. Because they were kind of on a privateerish team, you know. And
I think in points he ended up with 8th or 9th. So he did good. Shout out to our buddy Chris Blows. He ended up 5th.
Oh, yeah. Blows.
East Coast.
East Coast, yeah. Yeah. And, you know, luckily he's one of those dudes because I think he actually retired last year.
Yeah.
But luckily he's just one of those naturally, like, motivated dudes. So he kind of kept himself in shape, and then opportunity called.
Yeah.
But, like, all of us been talking, and in the prime of his career, like in the meet, I think he was a podium contender all the time, but he was always on like kind of a privateer bike.
Yeah.
And now it's like he's at the end of his career and he gets like the best bike you can get as far as lights go. And it's like, damn, like what could have been, you know, like
gets that phone call
5 or 6 years ago. But
that's something to say for, you know, being prepared, staying ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
It's like you get that phone call and you fully commit and you take advantage of the opportunity.
Exactly.
Same thing that you do when you get that phone call, like other people. It's like, yo, can you golf? You know, in Tulsa, let me ask my wife.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no.
Yeah.
It's like, hell yeah.
I'm ready to rip, dude. Drop the dog off the parents' house. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So fast.
Yeah. So there's something to say about that. So we're recording this podcast a little early this week because you gotta catch a flight tomorrow, and then you'll be back next week. So I don't really know what's going on worth watching wise, but I will say, if you guys have Hulu, dude.
I do.
Dear Mama. The Tupac.
Oh yeah.
Documentary. Oh my God. It's like the best thing I've seen like in 10 years.
Better than the Dahmer one? Because I had nightmares after that.
I never watched that.
It was on Netflix. Sketchy, dude.
Yeah. I stopped watching that stuff like that because during like the pandemic 2020 when everything was shut down, you know, I watched that Don't F with Cats, and then I watched the Aaron Hernandez one.
Yeah.
And then I watched that Johnny Versace one.
Yeah.
So it was like 3 in a row that I would be watching. And then like one day, dude, I had a dream like I killed someone. And then my sister came and helped me cover it up and stuff. And I remember getting up to the bathroom, and I was like, dude, that happened?
Yeah.
You know, like I was so like out of it. I was like, damn, that was so. And then, you know, so for a little bit like that night, I was like, was that a dream or did
feels
that
so
happen?
weird. I hate that, dude. I hate dreams.
So I was like, I'm not watching that kind of shit no more.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched Dahmer just because I was always intrigued by his story and how.
I heard it's really good.
It's super. It was produced well. The actor was awesome, but man, it's disgusting that humans are like that, you know?
Well, yeah. And at least that one's like a show, like entertaining.
Yeah.
Type, you know, not that that's entertaining.
Yeah.
Entertainment, but you know, it's a show. But the documentary, this Tupac one, dude, if there's one thing I know more than basically everything else I do, journalistic wise.
Okay.
MMA journalist.
Okay.
Shoe journalist.
You're tooting your own horn. It's
golf.
Fine. Keep going.
Journalist.
You don't know no golf.
But I have you on here.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
You know, moto journalist.
Yep.
You know, all that kind of stuff I know Tupac.
Yeah, you do.
You know.
Yeah.
And I saw that this was coming out, Dear Mama, and it's more about his mom too. And I was like, what possibly could they show? Dude, the guy's been dead over 30 years now.
Yeah.
Like, what could they show that I haven't seen yet?
Yeah.
You know, and there are some little clips there that, you know, I've never watched before, and just the way they produced it.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so good.
That's everything on like a documentary or show. That's where like the Dahmer one was good. Like we said, you know, like, and like Breaking Bad's one I love. It's like the way it's all produced, and especially in documentaries, like there's so many like, where it looks like they're using like B-roll the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, but like sometimes when they put it together and the way they interview and like, dude, I love like documentaries to me, like I'm more of a real life guy.
Yeah, me too.
I think that's why I liked the Dahmer one because it's something that happened. You know, when you watch something else, you're just kind of like, that's cool, you know, but I want to see like, I like history and like knowing what's going on. So, yeah, I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, in the way they did the music, because, you know, it's songs you've heard before, but they take the audio or the music completely out. Yeah. It's just his voice.
Yeah, just like a cappella.
So it makes it sound different. They'll put a different song or like a beat to it. And you're like, dude, this sounds amazing. It was, like I said, probably the best thing I've seen on anything in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So
I'll watch it for sure. Cause it keeps popping up on like my recommended. So
that's on Hulu.
Okay.
And then FX. I think you can watch it if you have like regular cable, you can watch it on FX, but it's definitely worth watching. I think it's 5 episodes. So I'm on 4 now. And then I got the last one to watch.
I'm going to watch them all before you get to that and then spoil it for you.
Well, I mean, I basically know what happens. I know what happens with his life, but just the way they did it, dude.
Cool.
And then the producer's Alan Hughes, which is the guy that Tupac and his crew beat up.
Oh, really?
Because he didn't put him in Menace to Society.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they have a part of that in there, and they talk about it. It's like the first time they talk about it. And Snoop Dogg's in there, and he's pretty funny. Like, he's Snoop Dogg, you know? So he has some pretty good stories. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's going to be the mystery of our lifetime, I think. Is how two of like our generation's biggest rappers get shot in downtowns, and there's not one victim or suspect anywhere.
I did see a show that broke down like basically what happened, and it is like gang related. But
I'm saying I can freaking steal a pack of Skittles from Rayleigh's, dude. I'm in handcuffs.
Yeah.
And these guys are getting shot in Vegas and LA.
Well, that was 95, 96. And yeah, nowadays you know, you can sit there
Skittles
and
in 95 and 96. I never got arrested. It was a theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
But nowadays, there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
So
look at that. I mean, we got one on us right here.
Oh, yeah.
You do something shady, dude. I got it.
So good.
All right. Yeah, well, that was a good pod, dude. I'm stoked to finally have something to talk about with you. Like I said, next week we'll have a good one as well.
Yeah.
Or I hope. I mean, I'm going to be pretty on the sauce.
I expect you to do good at this tournament.
I probably won't.
Okay.
Because that's the thing with Trav's tournaments is there's a lot of like liquor and beer sponsors. And I am like the token drunk guy. Like Trav would, if I said I was going there to like golf and be, Trav probably would kick me off his team.
I need to start this patch company and make it blow up. So Trav will have me come out as the golf patch guy.
Yeah.
In golf too.
Yeah. You just weld them onto everyone's bags. You just watch one tee shot and you're like, you're like a 15%er.
Yeah.
And there you go, dude.
Not even. Because that's probably like pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, looking forward to this next week. Podcast will be regular time next week because I get home Wednesday. Yep. So we'll do Thursday. Thanks for sticking with us. I know it was a long couple weeks without our beautiful voices.
Oh yeah.
Even though you did one without me. But yeah, looking forward to it, man.
Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for hanging with the boys. Check us out on all our social medias. That's @theboys_pod. You can listen to this basically on every platform there is.
Yeah. Listen to it like 4 times so we get all the listens and views.
Yeah. And actually, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, which a lot of people do, Apple, please subscribe. That helps us out. You can leave a rating and then also leave a comment there. And if you have a question, we'll, read it on here and answer it.
Yeah.
You can watch this on YouTube and also on Spotify.
Yeah. Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
All right, dude. That was fun. Until next time. Peace.